Now coming into you and I, now what's your expectation and goals? You and I had the biggest recruiting class, freshman recruiting class ever to come in 1997. You was part of that. Um, Now going to play with that, as well as having teammates you played in high school with, going to the same school as you.
Great situation with my teammates. You know, like I said, Marcus Reeves grew up across the street from me in Cali, man. And me and Carl, our whole life been involved in sports, actively competing against each other in different teams and throughout the neighborhood of East Chicago. So to have my childhood friends to be able to earn scholarships also, it was a comfort we had. You know, it was familiar faces, so it helped with the transition process from being in East Chicago to being at a college was 98% Caucasian. At least two faces that I saw was guys who I knew my whole life. So the the transition from that was big, man. We came in and at the wide receiver position, I didn't do the research that I should have did because I feel like, okay, I'm big time, Big Ten receiver, or whatever. I'm coming to Northern Iowa. I should be like number one on the depth chart when I walked through the door. Walked in and saw I was like third or fourth, and kind of didn't understand that because I didn't do my research. Um, Ended up finding out that we had three NFL wide receivers and future NFL wide receivers in front of me. Alonzo Clayton, who was a senior, he was an All-American. He was getting ready to go play for the. He ended up playing for the Cincinnati Bengals the year after that. Then we had an Ohio State transfer, Mike Furry. Um, he currently still in the NFL wide receiver, and a red shirt freshman by the name of Eddie Berlin, who played like 5 or 6 years with the Tennessee Titans, and he played a year or some with the Bears. He played a couple years with the Bears. So, and another freshman that came in with me named Jake Soliday that ended up playing with the Arizona Cardinals at wide receiver. So it was a shock. You know, I don't even think Florida State got 4 wide receivers on their team that go to the NFL like that. Out of one, 4-year group of class. So it was competitive. I mean, I actually saw people that was better than me at my position for the first time. And I was the one, taking pieces of their game and trying to put it in my game and make myself better. So it was a big shock. Not only was it a culture shock to just go against that talent, also, going against a DB who had just shut Randy Moss down the year before the one catch, going against him every day in practice. So it was the reason why we was number one in the nation.
Okay. So how did you fare as a true freshman?
True freshman year was frustrating. Uh, kind of don't know why the coaches didn't send us our playbooks once we signed our letters of intent. The whole coaching staff was kind of brought over from Toledo. That's how they was able to get a lot of the athletes that they shouldn't have been able to get for our recruitment because they was recruiting us at Toledo and they came over to Northern Iowa and they recruited us over to UNI. And they did a good job with their transition stage because a lot of us stayed with those coaches. I mean, those coaches used to come to East Chicago, white coaches, and to be in our house at 10, 11 o'clock at night, eating dinner with us, talking with us. I mean, showing us that they really want us to come in and play. Um, we ran a West Coast offense out here, so it was 3, 4 receiver sets. You had to know how to play all 3 positions. You could be in the slot, you could be wide out, you half motion and full motion. Playbook was huge. I mean, I had trouble keeping up with the playbook, and also it was so much talent. So freshman year I ended up redshirt. Um, I got better every week though. I just kept learning, kept getting better, kept watching. Like me and Mike ended up bonding, getting a real big bond, and Mike worked for me a lot.
Mike who?
Mike Furry.
Okay.
Mike Furry is still in the NFL right now, and we worked on different things and just learning how to use my size a little better and getting in and out of my breaks. So freshman year was a learning experience. Um, Thought about transferring my freshman year. I mean, 'cause I had a great practice my freshman year, like 2 or 3 great practices where I didn't drop a ball. I mean, I was making big plays, scoring touchdowns, and I didn't move up on the depth chart. But I didn't deserve to move up because they did that every day. I mean, it was the most competition I've been a part of. I mean, it was just frustrating. I had my best practice, and they just go about their day doing that every day. I mean, I feel like it was going to be hard, and I didn't want to sit out. I feel like, man, with my size and my weight and my speed and my jumping ability, I should be playing somewhere. So kind of thought about leaving after that freshman year too.
So you stayed at UNI. Come your next year, go to play. What happened with that?
Okay, we had a pretty good spring ball. Spring ball was good. Then we came back in for our second year, started 2-a-days. Everything was going good in 2-a-days. You know, I knew the offense. I was more comfortable with it. And coach came to me after practice one day, and I had took psychology and sociology in summer school. Coach came to me and said, "Hey, you failed psychology." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "I just retake it." He said, "No, you ain't eligible. You can't play." So I mean, that killed me. That was like one of the worst feelings I felt in my life. I mean, just walking back to that locker room, taking my stuff off, like, man, you know, like, I can't play this season. So, and it was my fault. You know, it wasn't nobody else's fault but my own. I made a bad decision of going home and taking summer school courses instead of staying out here in Northern Iowa and taking them while they have all the distractions. So I had to sit out my sophomore year, but I still worked out with the team, and I still did other things with the team, preparing to get ready, for what would have been my sophomore season coming up the next year.
Okay. Now, after that 1998 season, UNI brought in, in 1997, UNI brought in 45 incoming freshmen on scholarship. After the 1998 season, I think 39 of the freshmen left.
Yeah.
Why is that? And you were one of them. And what happened?
Man, I think we all made bad decisions. A couple people made good decisions leaving. Carl Billings, who was fullback to play with me in high school, we went to a one-back offense. Carl's 6 feet, 245, 250 pound fullback. I remember blocking in practice, when it was the one-back, and we had them 4-4 guys, 4-3-5 guys, and they getting around the edge quick, and then, Carl would come in and, he powering it, but it's hard for him to turn that corner on him, the college DNs and, linebackers. So Carl made a good decision in leaving UNI because the offense didn't fit him no more. But that kind of hurt me because, like I said, that's my boy, and we all from the same city. My quarterback, Marcus Reeves, who was actually my roommate, while I'm home at Christmas break, I found out that he flunked out of school. So that hurt me too. Now I lost both of them. So I was at home over Christmas break, and I just told my uncle, I said, "Man, take me to Iowa. I'm about to go get all my stuff," and I just left. I just left. Bad decision on my part.
When you left Northern Iowa, who did you reach out to from the UNI staff, or who did you reach out to from home?
I reached out to Richards. Because Richards had stuff already lined up. I mean, it was schools that I treated like trash. It was like, yeah, we're taking. So it was a line of D2 schools just waiting, for me to play. I also had some connection with my grandfather. He was actively involved in the Black Expo. I had a few black colleges. Southern was one of them. They wanted me to transfer there. So basically that second semester was for me to be home, for me to get my grades, to transfer the next season and go somewhere and play right away.
Now, after leaving the University of Northern Iowa, now you at Purdue Calumet taking courses. I remember hearing about you was getting bigger, getting in shape, getting faster. You started to go on recruiting visits, but something fatal happened to you that year, going to play with that.
In that process, I had a girlfriend at the time that went to IU, so I kind of just wanted to go out to IU and visit her. So, me and my cousin, we drove out to Indiana, and I surprised her, on a visit. And basically, she wanted to go out that night. I didn't want to go out. I just kind of wanted to hang out, with her. She ended up convincing me to go out. On our way to go out, we got in a car crash. I woke up. I was on life support. Tied to a bed. Didn't know what happened. Ended up finding out that I had bruised my heart, my lungs. Ruptured my spleen. Broke my arm, my pelvic bone, I was in bad shape. Struggling, fighting for my life, basically.
Hey man, that was crazy. I remember being in Michigan at Grand Rapids Community College and hearing about that, man, and just just going to play, man, but the whole situation, man. I know it's difficult to talk about, but just going to play of your thoughts of being on life support, to being, 1 minute, your parents thought you was gonna be gone, but then you fought back.
It was a fight, man. God pulled me through, and my family, and their prayers, and my friends, prayers, and the people that came and visited me when I was in the coma. I appreciate all that. But like I say, man, I was woke for like 3 days while I was on life support. I think for like 3 of the other days I was still in the coma. But I tell people, it's like, imagine holding your breath, and when a person point at you, you get a chance to breathe. I mean, just for a machine to be keeping you alive, I mean, all I did was stare at that machine and wait for it to breathe for me. It was just a fight, man. It was frustrating. And at the time, I got to think, the tube down my throat, and I can't talk to nobody. But I'm thinking in my head, like, I know I'm pretty messed up, but I'm still going to keep playing football. I'm going to get better from this, because I always rehab, work hard, and I knew I could come back from that.
Now, me talking about this earlier. You were saying 1 minute, you're Antwan Kennedy, 6'5", 40-inch vertical, 195-pound wide receiver. Now you're in a wheelchair, your arm broke, and you got the friends that help you to the bathroom.
Yeah, that was a down point in my life. I mean, to have my hip broke, I got wires keeping my stomach together. I'm in a cast again. My arm broke. I got more pins in it. Can't even lift my legs up. I can't move. I can't push myself in a wheelchair because I only got one arm. Good friends and family, man, take me to the bathroom. Can't even wipe my own butt. I mean, just was a rough time on me, man. Just from being that person to being this guy that need people. So it was just a hard time for me, man. Like I said, I thank God for the people that was around me to help me get through that, though.
Okay. As always, you was a fighter, and we always knew you was gonna come back. Give us the day when the doctor told you you'd never play football again.
It was weird, man, because I had to, like I said, I was in a wheelchair for a few months, so I had to, I went through therapy. I mean, my therapist would be like, okay, you need to stop. You need to stop. You go swell up here. You go swell up there. And my therapist would say the same thing. I ain't never seen nobody work this hard. And I was challenging them, like, let's do this today, let's do this today, let's add this to it. And I really worked myself back. I think I may have been a little faster, and I think I was jumping even higher. I worked hard through therapy. Go from a wheelchair. I mean, like, I was doing dunks after that I couldn't even do. And it was a weird situation. In the midst of trying to train, I did take a recruiting visit to St. Joe's after the accident. So I think St. Joe's was going to be my move. They had a good quarterback. The running back from Michigan was there. Damon Harmon was there doing well. So I was like, I'm going to go to St. Joe's, put up some numbers, and go to the league. In the midst of getting in shape, man, my heart beat felt funny. I'm like, man, I started getting this weird taste in my mouth. So we set up an appointment, and I got an angiogram where they check all the arteries in your heart. And it was a weird day because my mom never really gave me the car keys. And, the doctor called me and said, can I see you, Antwan? And I'm like, yeah. My mom would usually either ride with me to appointments and everything after that. Like, she didn't let me get out of her sight. And she said, no, you grown now, Antwan. You go ahead and drive. That's when I found out.
So what's the reason why?
And when I got in the cars, then I bruised my heart. And when I bruised my heart, narrow arteries in your heart. And because the heart will reshape itself so it can function the right way. And when I bruised it, it narrowed the artery in my heart, which caused a heart murmur. So the doctors told me if I got my heart rate up too high and I took a big hit, I could have cardiac arrest and die. So that was the end of it.